Hi. I've been outside for like, I guess like a week now without having a shower for my hair. I wash myself, but to do the hair requires a lot of water. I got a lot of hair, you know what I mean? So I only got 5 gallons of water right now. So I wash myself, but I don't do my hair, so it looks funny. Oh, hold on, I'll go get my hat. Well, as you can see, I kind of live outside. Right now I'm at this spot. Yeah. Wait. Look. That's a mountain. Well, I was making this video. I'm making this video because, well, I haven't seen anyone else like me make a video like this. So I guess I gotta do it. And, yeah. So that's what this video is. And well, hold on. I think it's okay for this. I prefer to talk, but okay. Well, the subject matter today is what it appears like others have figured this thing out, but like without love? Huh? Confuses me a little bit. And there is no necessarily relevance to anything that doesn't include love. So I don't understand how one can reflect on their lived experience of life, and when they produce something it comes up to the surface that doesn't feel loving, why it's shared into the world still once you get the gist of this whole thing. And although I do get it, it has nothing to do with actually not getting it. It has to do with, will that help everyone else get it? And Western people, well, they like to figure it out on their own. I'm a Western person, but I'm not a Western person. Because anytime I needed help, anytime ever, I reached out for it. Couldn't find the people necessarily in like local areas, but we got the internet now. So I looked at that, and each time I got to some sort of realization that didn't include love, well, how could that be it? How could that be the last one? How could that be the super pow? Don't have any more questions. Because there is a question with, okay, I did this whole heck of thing. Now what? That's a question. And that question isn't just like a question of like, oh, what should I eat today? And then, you have preferences on what you eat. That's an existential question about you as a person. About why did I do all of this? And essentially, I'm finding that a lot of people are going out into the world and saying, guys, figured a lot of this out. But I don't know what to do with it. And I am grateful for seeing these videos because in my direct life, I have not encountered this before. And I've not seen it in Sadhguru, in Eckhart Tolle, in, I'll count a lot of them, but they're the ones that are live. They got a lot of videos and stuff. And I don't see this, I don't know what to do with it mentality. And one could remember so vividly in their whole person various things and never forget them. But if one is still thinking and believing those thoughts and then projecting them out to the world, because now there are people that, I figured this, I think I figured this out, and there's nothing else really to figure out. But why don't I feel like it was awesome? So, you make a video and you feel so assured of yourself. So assured of yourself. You go, oh, I figured it out. Gotta make a video now to tell people about it. But if one is saying these things in a video where they're like, hold on. Or even like a, well, so there's clearly something that you're still seeking. And it's different, it's different for you now, but you're still seeking something. And so I wanted to make this video because I don't do these things unless I feel like it's kind of, maybe I should. So this is eventually going to be helpful for everyone listening to it. But I do recognize that probably for this first 10 minutes, 9.5 minutes, that it's not helpful for a lot of people. And well, the thing is, if someone can come around and make you question yourself, know what I mean? And, well, hi. So, this video might just be like a one-of-one type of video, because, many of us don't need this video until later. So perhaps I will make another one of these later. But for the time being, this one is to help all the ones that I am starting to see about people that go, well, kind of figured out this whole existence thing. Kind of figured out this whole God is everything. Figured out all these things. And now I'm wondering, where do I fit in all this? Because this I that is fitting in all this, it exists. And well, okay, so let me just say it straight. Let me just say it super obviously. Blow it out of proportion. Let's say 5,000 years from now. 5,000 years from now, there's a percentage on the planet that is aware of what it means to be human. And that percentage on the planet is, let's say, huge, big percentage. Not everyone, because Earth is a unique place, you know, it's not here, we're not all here to just do this. We are, but you know, can't touch every single person. That's not the point of the Earth. The Earth is for people to reach out themselves. So in the future, when there's a lot of people, let's say let's just throw an optimistic number. Let's say there's 70% of the population that understands this. Is 70% of the population going to go around talking about this? You know what I'm saying? Or is the ones that can talk about this to help the most people, will they kind of assume that role, and everyone else who knows of the divine, they assume the role of which they feel is theirs? And so that is what it means to be human. To recognize your role. I don't really like saying role, because it's really just what you feel like you want to do. And once your feelings of what I want to do aren't produced by your own, you know, then you kind of know, you kind of feel, oh, this is the right thing to do. And I am noticing that there's something else for some of these people to still be doing. And ideally, those are the people watching this right now, or amount of watching this are people who are saying, I don't have any more questions. Now I just want to tell the world. Yet the thing that you're telling the world is, I don't know, I feel like I have more questions. And okay, hold on. It's not a distraction if it's important. Oh, hold on. Oh, there it is. There's this bug. Okay. And so, well, I implore everyone who, on the spiritual seeking, they're starting to go, feeling pretty lazy. You know, I did a thing. There's not really another thing to do, because I did the thing. But like, I'm still here. And doing the thing was so exciting. You know, it's exciting, depressing, amazing, awful. It's all these things during the process. But so I did all that, and the whole journey was lovely. And now I'm found. How can one not say it's lovely still? It's pretty awesome. And so I want to emphasize that those questions, that perspective, that constant reflecting with the mind on the changes experienced, that stops. That can stop. And what causes it to not stop is recognizing your level of knowingness. Kind of gets to people. And I don't understand why. Because ultimately, now that you know, you can go help everyone. But how are you going to help everyone by basically saying, it's not special, it's so like, all these things of, it's so meh. It's kind of like to be a spokesperson, it requires more than just knowing the content. So, so if you feel as if this is speaking to you, which I kind of hope it does, because the videos that I'm seeing more like coming out from, I don't know how to say it, the people that did the thing, because I don't really think that about it. There's people that have done the thing, there's people that haven't done the thing. I don't see it that way. But when someone does see it that way, it becomes incredibly tough for that person to reintegrate into the world if you're human. So there's someone that you've known for a long time and forever, and they like to have these spiritual or these intellectual type of conversations. And so you're sitting there with the knowingness of, okay, they're just kind of in their head, they're just talking about their thoughts. But to them, when they're engaging with you and they're absolutely like, whoa, I'm loving this. And maybe they're not even talking with you, maybe they're just engaging and you're there. This is how a lot of people are. What's so wrong about that right now? There's this idea of, there's nothing for me to engage with. I just can't really, there's no reason for me to be thinking about this stuff that they're thinking about. Well, there is. And it's because you know that. And if you care, and if you love them, and if you saw them as equally divine as you, well, then you would give them the actual space to have these conversations, and you would just structure your life to where you're in these spaces less, not because you don't want to be, but because you do know that they're not necessarily hearing everything you're saying. And so you go to another space. And then you come back to this space where they're having these intellectual conversations, and you join them for a little bit. They're joining you. Join them. If you want them to join you, why aren't you joining them? Why aren't you seeing every single person as amazing? I don't get it. It's more of a, now that the world doesn't get me, and now that I kind of talked about this with the people, and all of them are going, bro, you're sounding a little bit off, or whatever people might say, depending on how they're able to articulate truth. There's something to that, to your need to telling people about truth. I got a lot of friends and family. I don't need to talk to them about anything. So when they talk to me, they say, hey, do you want to talk? I go, yeah, let's hang out. Talk with them for a period of time of which it is, a period of time. And then I go, okay, that was a really nice conversation. I'll talk to you later. And ideally, if I was in the conversation with truth and not with the desire to leave it because they're not talking about the thing that I want to talk about, then it will lead them to asking the question. And I'm not even trying to have them ask the question. I'm just being genuine. I'm just being genuine. So, yeah, I kind of implore a lot of people to recognize everything. That's what you're saying you're doing now. So actually do it. And so, if you see that there are things slipping through the cracks, and a lot of cracks slip through, then there's a certain claim that is best to not say. Because now, when a spiritual person goes, whoa, what is this? Whoa, I gotta find me people that understand this. Because right now it's just understanding. I gotta find people that understand this. Let's go find them. And so you find Jesus, you find yogis, you find Eckhart Tolle, you find Sadhguru, you find all sorts of beings that are talking about this. Now, that was a couple years ago. Now, for people that do the same thing, walk in the room and go, whoa, I'm here now, or I want to be here now, then if they hear the conclusion, because in everyone's thought process, the conclusion is knowing. If they hear that in the conclusion, the person goes, wasn't all cracked up what it was supposed to be. Basically, like, no, I don't get anyone. No one gets me now. I'm just kind of sitting here. I don't really have any motivation to do anything. This is okay to talk about. But talking about it with honesty and talking about it with love. With love. Love for yourself. That's the hardest one to fake. So if you are with yourself and you are not loving, well, then how can you say you're loving yourself? Just saying. And if you're being comforted by the universe, saying you got this, in all the ways of which the universe does that, you're being comforted so you can push through, you know? And the barrier, I guess the threshold, becomes very sneaky. Ooh. But every single moment is your choice. And as you live your life making the choice of truth, that moment just happens. You choose that. So, I hope it was helpful. And, well, if this was helpful, I would absolutely love to talk to anyone and everyone, anywhere in the country that finds this helpful. I would love to talk to literally anyone that hears this and goes, wait a minute, sounds kind of helpful. Because I essentially live on the road and I go to where the people listen. So that mountain I was showing you that's this way, that is Mount Shasta. And this is my second year being up here. And every year, I mean, ideally every moment that people are, really wanting to not study this, but like get like a lesson in it, well, let's come hang out. Because it is fascinating to see yourself in different environments, to see who comes through. And once you know who's coming through, you know what you got to do. And my saying for that is, you got to know where you're at in order to like get anywhere. You know what I mean? Duh! And then knowing where you're at requires honesty and truth, of which, you know, the mind, you know, is doing this whole, I'm saying the mind because I hear people saying the mind. I think you should got to take a little more accountability and just saying I. Just say, yeah, I am still believing XYZ 1, 2, 3. Instead of saying the mind. Because once you start saying the mind, you go, oh, wasn't me. It was the mind. Which is still you, because you know, you let the mind come out and play, which is you. And there's the balance. And it's just recognizing that balance so other people can see that balance within themselves. If there's not that balance within the individual who is making a lot of, you know, pretty substantial claims, if there's not that balance in the person, eventually the people observing them will either leave or they won't notice that, and they will reach that point that other person's at and go, whoa, look at that. I guess I did it, but like, now I just don't have any motivations to do anything. Which, like, is not true! Every waking moment, every single waking moment, I want to help people. That's my motivation. This word, it must be seen differently. This word that people are using, I'm not motivated, is basically people who figure things out and they just kind of do nothing with it because they don't know what to do. That's not being motivated. That's what I'm more so referring to. And basically I go, whoa, I gotta tell every single person. I gotta tell every single person, and so I gotta figure out how to tell every single person. Every single person is different. Every single person, figuring out how to tell them is basically just, if you can hear truth, then you can tell them. So you're talking with someone, they're having this intellectual conversation, whatever you're thinking that it is, because it's not truth in your perspective. And then if you want to sit there and you go, they're not getting the truth thing that they're trying to get. Or the other way is you can help them with what they're saying, because they are asking for help through the dialogue. So, to sum this up, well, yeah. Ideally, I don't have to sum it up because people were paying attention listening to it. But I will sum it up by saying that if I'm confusing you, well, what's that mean? Okay, see you later.